As Robin Williams once said in a famous movie, he said, "Good morning, customer service week." It is amazing to have everyone here. It is Monday, October 5th, the beginning of Customer Service Week, and Paul and I are joined by a sensational group of CX leaders, thought leaders, practitioners, and just extraordinary people. I couldn't be prouder of having our first official LinkedIn Live with the four of you. Paul, assuming we can hear your audio?
I hope so, Neil. Can you hear me? Hey, everybody. Thank you so much. This is going to be amazing.
Got it. Let's introduce everybody. So I'm just going to go in order of top. So my top over here to the right is the one and only Lisa Dia. Lisa, tell the audience, those that are listening that may not know who you are, which would be rare, but who are you?
Well, good morning, everybody. It's very early here in Sacramento, California, which is where I am based. I am Lisa Deal. I manage the consumer advocacy team here at Blue Diamond Almonds. Blue Diamond Growers is our official name. And I am also the board chair for SOCAP International. And I'm very, very excited to be here and join the fun.
Woohoo, SOCAP. Let's go. So in my order, I'm not sure if everyone has the same order. So I have Paul, Neil, Lisa. Mike, you would be next at the bottom left corner from what I'm seeing.
Okay, great. Thanks, Neil. I appreciate that. Mike Aoki. I'm based out of Toronto, up here in Canada. And my own background is really focusing all the way through in terms of agent training, customer experience, being really focused in terms of helping people sell and speak more effectively over the phone and also in text and email as well. And my own background is roughly, I hate to say it, but 25 years in the industry as far as looking at what used to be called call centers all the way through, from starting with basic voice, back in the 90s, all the way through to just the amazing omni-channel world that we're in right now. And I'm really happy to be here as well. Thanks for inviting me.
Great to have you, Mike. Thank you. Jeremy Watkin.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jeremy Watkin. I am just a few miles south of Lisa down in San Diego, California. A few smoky miles right now, unfortunately. I lead customer support and customer experience at a company called Number Barn. And I'm pleased to know everybody here through the industry from various conferences and different things like that. Excited for today.
Ooh, conferences. All the conferences. Awesome. John Cox, you're up next.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm excited for today. My name is John Cox. I manage the consumer affairs team at WellPet. We're a natural pet food company in Tewksbury, Massachusetts. And I am also involved with SOCAP as the chair-elect for 2021.
All right. We have a great group here. Woohoo, SOCAP. So given that this week is Customer Service Week, this week probably means lots of different things to lots of different people, depending on kind of where you sit in the customer care world. Whether you're in the contact center, you're outside of the contact center, you're in management, you're on the front line. So there's lots of ways to slice and dice this one. But I would like to ask everybody here, but we could start just to go in the same order. Lisa, why is today and why is this week important for you? And also a separate question, if you could show what you just showed us before we went live, I want you to highlight that and share it because you got some nice stuff to
Absolutely.
show.
So we're celebrating Customer Service Week, and we get to see that. We all, we've decorated all over the office here. It's really important to recognize customer service. For a lot of years, and I've been in this business for a lot of years, as Mike indicated a little bit ago, and customer service has always been, the pooper scoopers at the end of the parade. And I think that's kind of changing. We're taking a front seat, and I think it's really, really important to recognize the people, from the front lines to management, to workforce, to, everything that you can think of that touches our consumers, because without consumers, all of us cease to exist as a business. And so really changing that perspective of where consumer advocacy or customer service or whatever you want to call it, customer care, it's important. And so I get excited when this week comes where I can actually, celebrate my teams. And I've got teams in different parts of the country, down in Bogota, Colombia, up in New Brunswick, Canada, as well as here in Sacramento. And so, I try and show the love where I can to make sure that my teams know that, they're important and we're celebrating them this week.
Very cool. What's really cool, I think, also is that this is not something you're only doing with your external teams. This is something that you're doing and that management is also bought in on. That's why the balloons are there. That's why people arrived early to take care of this. I think it's something to clearly be proud of your leader in this one. That's wonderful to hear. Thank you. Mike, let's kick it over to you. So why is today and why is this week important for you?
Well, I think one of the biggest reasons why is just to go and honor all the people that work in customer experience and customer service. And at least you mentioned all the members of the contact center. Also, for retail staff that are out there, for all the supporting groups that are out there as well, shipping, delivery, all the people that are the face of the company, really, to customers that are out there. It's really important to recognize them. And I think that's the real key. By making a spotlight this week, we're able to recognize everybody involved, because really everybody in the organization is involved in customer service, either right with that customer or supporting that all the way through. So I think it's really crucial to go and mention that to everybody: human resources, accounting, billing, everybody. And so the whole key about this is to focus on the customer. So it's honoring the people within your organization that deal with customers, but also honoring your customers as well. Because again, without customers, right, organizations wouldn't be anything at all. So it's celebration, it's recognition. I think there's also an element in there as well, especially with the way this year has gone, with all the things with working from home and then going back to the office, etc. Is just really focusing on the fact that this was a really tough year with a lot of challenges. And I know a lot of us put in late nights, weekends, everything, trying to go and help support all these endeavors. So it's really also a celebration of how far we've come, from March until now in October, how much we've overcome, to really pull together as a team. So it's just celebration, recognition, and just the respect that I think this industry deserves.
Thank you. That was a great response. Jeremy, what about you?
I think for me, I think about operations folks, and I have reports in my inbox that I get every Monday that I'm looking at and just kind of churning the hamster wheel. And I think it's important for us to pause and as people in the contact center to celebrate what we do. I think back to when I started out in the contact center, and I spent most of my early years trying to figure out how I was going to get out of that and get into my next role. And I don't know what fell and hit me in the head, but at some point I realized that, we're talking to customers every day. We're working with people in our contact centers. We have a chance to make a difference. And I think it's important to celebrate the difference that is made by all sorts of people in all different industries that are serving people. So I think that's what I really want to pause and celebrate. Get off the hamster wheel for a minute and just be grateful for the impact that people are making, that we get to make. It's a great industry to be in.
I love that. And you've been, especially recently, I think you've done kind of a tour around some different areas within the community. You've been in the BPO side, you've been on the tech side, you've been in QA, you've been in operations, you've been in many different seats. And I like hearing your perspective on it. Regardless, I think, of which seat you sat in, these things are definitely important to all of us.
Yeah, I will say, I was just in marketing and a couple other roles, and it's actually a lot of fun to talk to customers again right now.
Yeah, they are lovable. They are lovable, even when they bite. They do bite sometimes, but they're lovable. Awesome. John, you were the... Sorry, I was going to say, John, you were the originator of the question. You were the inspiration of it. I think you've got something on your mind about why this is so important for you and for your teams.
Yeah, I think what we do in our profession is it's not easy, right? I mean, it takes a certain type of person to be a customer service, consumer affairs professional. Dealing with the calls and the contacts that we have to deal with, they're not always, hey, way to go, pat on the back. And so I think it's nice to be able to step back and take a moment to recognize the folks that are really the front lines for our brands, and to recognize that what they do isn't always the easiest. And I know, for me personally, this week is an opportunity for me to step back myself professionally and just recognize that, that a lot of the challenges that I have are challenges that we all share, and that gives me, it gives me some comfort and to power on for the team and to realize that, hey, we're all sort of in the same boat and we all share the same challenges, and so for me that gives me a little bit of strength to power on for my team.
But so this is a question, I think, Mike, you're not in the center, you're not overseeing the team directly, but I'm going to point this question just to the three of them, if that's okay. So Lisa, John, and Jeremy, it's great, you're recognizing the team, but who's recognizing you guys? Is someone recognizing you and coming and giving you that pat on the back and thank you and and making you guys feel good, hopefully, about what you're doing?
For me, yes. And this is actually the first time. So it feels a little different, where, management here is actually recognizing the work that I'm doing, with my teams and how we're supporting our consumers. So it's a good feeling. It's great.
Yeah, I would echo that. I mean, same for me. Traditionally, it's something that we plan the event and it's in the office. Where my team is all remote, so everything is being delivered to the houses, and I was included this year, which is super. It's like Lisa said, it's a nice change, and certainly not something I expected or really even quite frankly wanted. That's just my nature, but it is nice to be recognized. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I generally feel well recognized. I'm really just thrilled to be a part of a great team.
Mike, the organizations that you work so closely with, do you see organizations that are on both sides of it, those that recognize not only the frontline team, but the management and leaders behind the team? Or do you unfortunately see sometimes that organizations maybe unfortunately don't make don't conduct the recognition that needs to be given to the leaders like the ones on our panel today?
It depends. I mean, the more advanced organizations, the more progressive ones, they do recognize the leaders in the contact center as well as other departments that support the contact center or support customers. Some places it's still just a silo where it's only just within the contact center itself, and it sort of just takes place in there. So it really depends. I do think that the C-level people are realizing more and more now how important customer experience is, and how, when done right, it's a competitive advantage. So I think that is starting to take place a lot more, but not as much as we'd like. So let's keep pushing Customer Service Week, and also all year as well, what the value is for customer experience.
Yeah, and if I could jump in, I really agree with that, Mike, because if it wasn't for the leaders, a lot of people wouldn't really even understand or know that it is Customer Service Week. And so I've been pushing it here since I've been here. I've been here for 4 years now, and every year I celebrate. And so finally, I've got the recognition of management to understand that this is an important week, for our teams.
That's super to hear. Paul, I'm not sure if you're able to see the questions or comments that are coming in from the audience. If there are questions, please interject and let's express those. Those that are listening, those that are tuning in. By the way, Leslie, we see you. We know you're out there watching us. Thank you for tuning in and watching and giving everyone a virtual applause. There it goes. Wow, what a crew, says Leslie O'Flahaven. Great to see your smiling faces. It's great that you're part of this, Leslie. Thank you. And happy Customer Service Week. Anyone that has questions for this incredible panel, please text them in. Please message them in. We'll make sure they get asked while the LinkedIn Live is going on. I want to switch gears and ask everybody, what is in your CX crystal ball, not just for this week, of course, but for the other 51 weeks of the year that are critical to what we do and how we operate? What is in your crystal ball, do you think? And I'll kick it over to you, Mike.
Sure. I think one of the things I'm really focused on for the upcoming year is really the idea that there's going to be a much greater demand in terms of skill level for agents. And we talked about this a little bit before in a previous Fireside podcast. But the whole key here really is that because AI, chatbots, mobility apps, et cetera, they're taking up kind of the bottom end, the routine kind of inquiries that customers make. What's left is going to involve much more complex interactions, more emotional intelligence, much better multitasking skills, much better technical skills. And so all the agents, they need additional training. I'm biased because I'm a trainer, but additional training as well as additional help and support to be able to help, provide that great level of customer experience when all the calls, not just 10%, 100% of the calls now are going to be more advanced, more complex issues. And I don't know if they're from the ops side, if Lisa, Jeremy, or John, you're seeing that already, but definitely for next year, the calls are going to get tougher. The remaining calls will be a lot more challenging.
Jeremy, let's see. Yeah, what's in it?
I had AI at the top of my list as well. One of my first priorities in this role has been to evaluate our self-help content and make sure that's the very best it can be. And I think I'm coming to realize that it may never be complete. I don't think it will. I think that's the nature of self-help, is you're constantly figuring out how you can better help customers self-solve their issues. But to Mike's point, I think at some point we will get to a point where we can continue to ratchet up the AI, make it easier to predict what customers need to solve their issues, and continue to progress down that road. And ultimately, agents are going to have to handle more complex more challenging issues, more challenging customers. They're going to have to land the empathy a lot thicker. And I know Leslie O'Flahaven's watching, so I'll just say, like, the whole use a template and move on to the next email is going to go away at some point. That's not good customer service, and machines are going to be able to handle that. So I think I'm really interested to see what this AI thing looks like, see how agents are able to be trained and to adapt into what that's ultimately going to look like.
I got to kick this one over to Lisa, because when I think of AI and chatbots and someone who's a first mover there, that's the first person I think of, because she's doing it. Not to put any pressure on you, but is that also in your CX crystal ball? Or kind of, I'm curious, because you have a very good vision of the crystal ball, and what your present has oftentimes been what the future is for many of us. You move at the speed of light, and those are compliments. What is in your CX crystal ball? Everyone pay attention to this one, because Lisa is an amazingly fast mover at these things.
Yeah, so kind of tapping on what everyone is saying here is what's, with AI, and we do have a really a robust chatbot, and which kicks things right over to live agent chat, and so we have a lot more customer self-service, and for our dream teams, really trying to create the center of excellence for all of my contact centers, and to be able to do that, there, as Mike was saying, there's training involved. There's more tools that we're launching, and there are things that people will still want that human touch, especially when you're in a food industry or pet care. When things become health issues, and so making sure that your agents have the tools that they need to be able to respond and bring that loyalty to the brand. And so that's really, really critical. So if I'm looking at my crystal ball, I want to be able to continue to push AI where I can, but I want to also be able to train and build up my teams to be able to handle that human interaction. And so, side by side, they are linked. And so I don't see humans going away anytime soon. There has to be that side by side, and again, continue to move forward. Good.
John, crystal ball, your turn.
Yeah,
what do you have?
just echoing what Lisa said, I think the partnership between human and automation need to be smooth. I think, like Jeremy said, and Lisa would, I think all the panelists, and definitely Leslie would agree, canned is out, right? No, canned is 22 seconds ago. And so that's super important. And the other thing,
I think, make that up?
I love on that. The fly, right? On the fly.
So 22 seconds ago, man.
Don't
trademark out there, audience. I already got the trademark on that one.
And I think one of the other.
I'm going to put that in the comments. That's going in the comments right there.
Is training. I think training will become critical. Call volume. I think call volume and types of calls are going to shift a little bit, given people are home now, and a lot of folks are working from home and have a little bit more time, and so I think training will be critical as well in the coming years. Not that it's not.
I love that one.
Critical now.
Absolutely perfect. By the way, just a quick moment, Kate. I don't know how, Kate, you pronounce your last name. I think it's Browse. I think. I hope I pronounced it correctly. We see you out there. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for the compliments for the team. Again, audience, please chime in here if you have questions for the panel. This is Fireside Chats Without the Fires, our first LinkedIn Live. And so far, so good, I think. We're happy to have everyone here. Let's kind of switch gears here. Kind of just a final initial set of questions for the panel. What is your CX wish? This is different than crystal ball. What is your CX wish? And the wish can be to your team, to the community, to your customers, to your management. It's an open-ended one. Mike, I'm going to put you on the spot for this one. CX wish.
Okay, thanks, Neil. I think my biggest CX wish, especially again, given the year that everyone's had, is take care of yourself. I think that's one of the biggest things, and that's from the front line all the way through to VPs, directors, SVPs. Take care of yourself. It's been a really challenging year. And I think sometimes, especially on the front line side, but also on the leader side as well, we put so much into supporting people, helping people, making sure that all of our people are okay. Take care of yourself as well. whether it's stepping away from the computer, not answering emails at midnight if you can help it, kind of step away from that. Just give yourself a break, because it's just been such a tough year. And I think there's a real risk here from the front line all the way through the SVP level of people burning out and not having healthy boundaries between their work life and their home life. It used to be, you get in your car, drive to work, you had a little bit of a gap in there, you drive home, a bit of gap in there. Now there's not. Now you go from your home office, your living room, to your kitchen, to, whatever, and there's no gap in there, no time to turn off at all. So I think the biggest thing that I've got, biggest wishes to everybody out there: take care of yourself. Take good care of yourself. Be your best friend. Help yourself. Recharge. Okay? Recharge and heal. That's the biggest thing that I think, Neil.
What a great message. And Jeremy, of course, you work with the great Jenny Dempsey. Jenny is the one, I don't know if Jenny invented it, but when I think of wellness in the contact center, I think of Jenny Dempsey, Coach Jenny Dempsey, wellness coach Jenny Dempsey. She's the one who I think has been kind of, really championing this. She creates songs about it. She tweets about it. I think she was a first mover that I've seen, but this concept is so critical. Wellness in the contact center, not just for frontline agents, by the way, who are super exposed to the mental and emotional stress, but everyone involved in the 360 view of customer care. I so agree. Jeremy, what would your CX wish be? I'm curious for this one.
Okay, I'm going to try not to sound cynical or critical in any way here, but to make my point, I have to say it. So when we talk about a CX wish, I think the first thing, I think we've seen maybe a trend where customer support and contact center is calling them customer experience. Maybe they call their agents customer experience agents. Maybe a CX leader is running the contact center. I think it's really important to differentiate between customer support and customer experience. I know customer experience is the hot term right now, but customer experience is so much more than what we do just in the contact center. Contact center is a huge piece of it, and we are a slice of the bigger customer experience pie. We all know that customers experience our brand and our business without ever talking to customer service. That brings in self-help and other things. So I think it's important for just an education. I wish for everybody to be educated in that way. But then my real wish is for the contact center and for customer service to be recognized for the role they have in the CX and have a seat at the table with the rest of the organization, whether it's engineering or marketing. We've been clamoring for this for a long time. Marketing sends out an email and contact center finds out when customers tell them about it, or engineering publishes something to the code base and the contact center doesn't find out until customers call about a bug. That's my wish, I think, for the industry, that customer service, that people would listen to the contact center customer service and invite them to the table with anything that impacts CX. So that I'm getting off my soapbox now.
It's a great soapbox to be on. John, what do you think? CX wish.
So my wish is a little sort of bigger picture type of wish. I think the pandemic has we've seen the good and bad of humanity, and I think that we're seeing a lot more neighbor helping neighbor and people being a little more in touch with people in their lives, and I hope that transitions over to our world, right? We tend to sometimes get robotic and canned and sort of wishy-washy and not always as empathetic and as we should be. And so I hope that continues and that folks can bring sort of their that into the call center and into the customer service world and just sort of bring the human kindness back to what we do.
So important, not only in this sphere, but everywhere else. Kindness. No one's going to disagree with that one. Thank you. Lisa, you get to wrap this one up. CX wish. No pressure.
CX wish. No pressure. Well, I'm on the Jeremy bandwagon here. And so, my wish would be to, actually have a seat at the table, not necessarily me, but at least customer care have a seat at the table in the C-suite. I think it's really, really critical. I think there's a lot of companies that really are consumer or customer centric. And then there's a lot of companies that, we proudly wear the hashtag afterthought. Because a lot of the times, we find out things from consumers, or we find out things, that should be in the front line. And so, we created this hashtag afterthought, and that's, the customer care team, and it needs to change. And my wish is, I hope that it changed, that we are on the forefront, and we do have a seat at the table. And, we know things certainly before consumers do. And so that's my wish.
Love it. Proactive analytics. There's a lot that goes in behind achieving that wish. That's a harder one. No one asked me, but I'm going to offer one gratuitously. Mine would be that everyone in our world understand that there's no contact center or no customer care or no call center easy button. What we do is very difficult. And just because you want to offer good customer service doesn't mean you can. It takes good people. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes money. It takes strategy. It takes vision. It takes 1,000,001 things. And just because, I find this, just because our bosses, our clients, our colleagues, because we're all customers, we all have opinions about how customer service should be run. That doesn't necessarily make us capable of running customer service efforts and departments and journeys and overall experience. No one asked me. I thought I would offer it. That would be my wish. Paul, I don't know if I hopefully you're not going to boot me off the show for that, but I thought I would gratuitously offer it.
Actually, that was my last question. I was going to ask you, but you stole my thunder, my friend. You stole my thunder.
What's yours? You get to have one too. Offer yours.
Talk about throwing me on the spotlight. I kind of echo what everybody's said on today's LinkedIn live session. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you all. Really appreciate everybody being on it. I think my customer experience wish is that it's just not this week, right? We just don't focus on this week. We focus across the 52 weeks of the year. That's my wish now.
That's a good one. That's a really great.
Have some of that.
Audience that are listening to this, that happen to be tuning in live, questions, comments, thoughts, anything you'd like to share. Now's your chance, or forever hold your CX piece. We are approaching the time allotment here. Panel, any last words, thoughts, things that you'd like to share? And if you do, wonderful, now's the time. And if not, that's okay too. Going once.
I just want to say thank you. For you guys are doing such a great job with this, these podcasts, LinkedIn Live. Congratulations on your first show, and it's pretty awesome. If everyone follows and listens, guaranteed to learn something. You're going to take a nugget every time. So thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks for spreading the word of what we do. It's awesome that you're able to host us and let us get our messages out there. It's been fantastic.
Love it.
It's a great way to start a Monday for sure.
It is.
Love it.
Yeah, it's great to share those ideas as well. And Paul, Neil, thanks for organizing this along with Jade. And actually, it's just been fantastic. And Lisa and John and Jeremy, I've learned so much from you as well in terms of the ops side that you're looking at and some of the things that you're seeing out there as well. So it's just been great being a chance to go and share with us and be a part of this.
Thank you.
Super. You guys, you've been an amazing panel. Before we wrap up in just a second, Jade, you are in the background. I want everyone to know that Jade is the one who is responsible for this beautiful artwork, keeping this session broadcasted live in a seamless, uninterrupted fashion. Jade, this wouldn't be possible if it weren't for you. Thank you so much for your incredible work. Thank you.
Great.
Everyone, it's been wonderful. Go get them. Have a great customer service week. Fireside Chats Without the Fires is back tomorrow. There's Jade. There she is. I'm going to put her on the spot necessarily, but I'm so glad everyone gets to see that she exists, and her smiley face is responsible for this.
I exist. Thank you.
There she is. Fireside Chats Without the Fires is back tomorrow. Paul and Jade, is it 10 a.m. tomorrow, 10:30 a.m.? Please remind us tomorrow for those that are tuning in.
Yeah. 10 a.m. tomorrow. Go on, Jade.
10 a.m. tomorrow. Yeah, it will take place 10 a.m. tomorrow, same platform on LinkedIn, and we will be spreading all throughout the social media platforms.
Super. Everyone, go get them. Have a great week, great day. Thank you for joining us. And audience, thank you for tuning in at Fireside Chats with the Fires. I'm Neil Toff. And that is the great Paul Capital. That's the great Jade. Lisa, you're amazing. John, you're amazing. Jeremy, you're amazing. And Mike, you're sensational. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.